connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
What's going on, everybody? Man, Eric Wilson here for a Sports Arena on a Monday night. Happy President's Day to everybody. Hope everybody that did have a day off today actually enjoyed it. I did. So, I had to kind of relax and get myself prepared for tonight. And I definitely needed a day to recollect after what I saw this past weekend with regard to the NBA, more importantly, to the slam dunk contest. I'm still kind of not believing what I saw. But let me get the rest of the crew in here so we can have this conversation along with the All-Star game itself, which proved to be just as phenomenal as it usually typically is. A little bit of defense, a lot of points, and of course, LeBron being LeBron. But you know what? Shout out to Steph Curry. But you know what? Enough of me. Let me get the crew in here. As always, first, our queen of hoops is Megan Price is in the building. I got my man, sports reporter without pay, Ray Lynn is in the house. And we got a special guest joining us this evening. He is on the NBA carousel with our very own Miss Megan Price, and he is on the sip-off. This is our man, Mr. Will Vogel's in the building. So good evening to everybody. Welcome. How's everybody feeling?
Doing good.
Great.
Awesome.
That intro, man.
I know, right?
The intro.
I can't take credit for that. That's all Rob. He handles all that for me.
Oh, my God.
I love it. So, y'all, let's talk about this. And Will, since you are our guest tonight, I'm going to go to you first. And let's talk about, first and foremost, this slam dunk contest. Now, Will, I think I'm a little bit older than you. So I'm used to when I see slam dunk contests or when I think of slam dunk contests, you know what I'm saying? I think of some of the greats that have done it. I think of guys like Vince Carter. Of course, we take it all the way back to Michael Jordan and, jamming it from the free throw line. I mean, just some of the names that are synonymous with this championship that is bestowed upon the winner. Listen, when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar gets up and leaves early from the slam dunk contest, to me, there's a problem. But Will talk to me about it, my brother.
Yeah, I agree. I remember watching All-Star games in the past, and their dunk contests were just awesome. And I agree. Kareem leaving is a red flag, meaning someone's not happy. A legend's not happy. It was probably the worst dunk contest I've ever seen.
So, Queen Meg, go ahead, Will, finish up.
But like you said, you're used to great performances like Vince Carter, Michael Jordan, Zach LaVine, other great dunk contests in past, and this did not live up to any hype.
Yeah. Megan, let me get you in here on this because, I mean, it was just bad.
It was really bad. Now, I will say Obi's first dunk I thought was incredibly difficult. Now, it wasn't like a super flashy dunk, but the degree of difficulty, it was pretty difficult. The kid from Golden State, his first dunk was incredibly difficult as well. It wasn't, like I said, none of these were really incredibly flashy dunks. They tried to use some props. I had Jay Nelson comment that if he was Jalen Green, I would have fired his partner within the first couple of bounces and gone and got 2 chains off the bench. Like, come on, help me with this over here. They got to do something to revamp it. But I also, not just the dunk contest, they got to revamp All-Star Weekend. They've got to find a way to make it more competitive. And I don't know if, I heard a suggestion about, as far as the dunk contest going, like having, your up and comers do the regular dunk contest and then have 2 stars, one from the East, one from the West, come in and do the dunk contest as well, or their portion of the dunk contest and have a cash prize for that as well. And something similar with the All-Star game too. I think you got to give an incentive with it to make it more competitive. Like you said, we saw no defense whatsoever. And we've seen that for several years, but I'm just of the opinion, I miss the competitive ones, the ones where they're diving off to try and save the ball from going out of bounds. You got Magic and Jordan playing against each other. Like, it was so competitive and they looked forward to it, and it was a real game. And this wasn't a real game.
And let there be East versus West again. The East is finally good again.
That. Yeah, I was just about to say that. I understand why they went to team captains, and at the time they needed it, but they don't need it anymore. Go back to East versus West. That's what we want.
All right, let me get to Raylan about this, because Raylan, come on now. This is the slam dunk contest. As kids, man, we would stay up, beg our parents to watch this. And you had, like I said, Michael Jordan. You had Dominique Wilkins, Kobe Bryant, Jason Richardson. I'm talking about Dwight Howard. I mean, little Nate Robinson. He can't box worth a damn, but he could dunk. Blake Griffin, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell. I'm just naming off names of winners. And it's like, this one? Really?
Well,
and no disrespect to Obi Toppin. No disrespect to him whatsoever. But this was not the dunk contest that I was anticipating.
No, it was horrible, but I think we have a short-term memory, right? Like, if you go back on YouTube and just type in dunk contest and listen to the years Magic Johnson was announcing the dunk contest. Every single year he would say, "Oh, we got the dunk contest is back now." They've been saying the dunk contest is gone and bad for 30 years now, right? And every 3 years or so, we'll have a good one to make us forget all the bad ones. Like, if you think about the last 10 years, the only really, really good dunk contest was the 2 LaVine one. The one with him and then him and the Aaron Gordon showdown. The rest have been mediocre and subpar. They keep trying new things. They tried the wheel. They tried teams. They tried all kind of stuff. And shout out my man Courtney in the comments said, y'all don't remember them 90s dunk contests. It was a lot of bad dunk contests. Go look at the dunks that Isaiah Ryder did to win. Even Kobe's dunk contest wasn't that great. We just remember Kobe being Kobe. Harold Miner did some basic stuff. I keep telling people, y'all know who ruined the NBA dunk contest? Street ballers. Like, if you like, those guys do some of the most creative things. And I've been arguing on Facebook all day. They're professional dunkers. That's what they do for a living. They don't play basketball. They dunk for a living. They've done so many creative things and everything you could possibly imagine as a dunker that now when an NBA guy gets on the floor and does a basic windmill, we're not impressed. When they go between the legs, we're not impressed. If they do a double pump reverse, we're not impressed. So you have to do something that we've never seen before to impress us. And then they go out with all these gimmicks. Cole Anthony comes out, brings his dad, I'm a dunk in Timberlands, and then he missed 5 times, right? And then Jalen Green missed 7 times. You were talking about Nate Robinson. You remember the dunk contest where he missed 13 times in a row?
Yep.
Like, this isn't new. It's just I don't know how to save it. They really want to save it. Let the professionals come do it. Let the free balls go. They let the G Leaguers play in the Rising Stars game. Let the professional dunkers come do it. That's what they should do.
So, okay. So what you're telling me is we need to expand and we need to involve to allow those that are proficient in what they do come be a part of this, even though they're not a part of the NBA. So let me play both sides of the coin, and let me go to Will and ask Will that question. Do you believe something like this could be successful and bring back the mystique, the excitement, and the aura that is the slam dunk contest?
You have to look at it both ways. I feel like some casual NBA fans would be like, you're ruining it. These guys aren't in the NBA. And why are you bringing guys from the street ball into an NBA all-star event, keyword NBA? Then you have to look at the other side. Bring the professionals. They wow people. Like Ray said, they are professional dunkers. They bring the wow. They bring the glam. They bring the swagger. It would be fun to experiment. Why not try it for 1 year? And if it works well and it gets good ratings, maybe continue it.
Really?
Hey, Eric, you know what the most exciting dunk was in the past, I don't know, 6 or 7 years at All-Star Weekend?
If
When
you say
Jordan
Aaron Gordon
Kilgannon-
jumping over a car, I'm gonna kick you out this room.
No. I said I didn't say dunk contest. I said the most exciting dunk at All-Star Weekend was when Jordan Kilgannon came off the sidelines and did his scorpion dunk in his jeans, the one with DeMar DeRozan face just look all crazy. The street ball dunker, Jordan Kilgannon, who's possibly the best dunker in the world. Bring in Jordan Kilgannon, bring in Chris Staples, bring in Tyler Kyrie. Y'all, if y'all don't follow street ball dunking, y'all may not know these people. They the best dunkers in the world. They've made it so hard for regular guys who have to spend the whole year focusing on their game, right? You can't just like be good. You have to be good at basketball to be in the NBA. I said this when watching the Rising Stars game. When I first got into basketball in 96, the rookie game used to be rookies. They had 12 rookies on each side. So you had 24 rookies in a game playing. And then there weren't enough good rookies, so they went with the Rising Stars and did rookies versus sophomores. Well, then the sophomores kept beating down the rookies every year. So they tried the World versus USA. Did you know they had G League guys in the Rising Stars game this year? G League players, guys who aren't in the NBA. So if we're going to expand, and the whole idea is just to make it entertaining and put on a show for the fans, bring in the guys who are the best in the world. Bring in those street ball guys, the same guys that was on Shaq and the TNT show, the dunk contest. Bring them guys in and let them put on the show for the fans. If you really want it entertaining, or we're going to get hit or miss every year, and we're going to get one or two good ones every other year. Everybody clamoring for Ja Morant. I don't want to see him in a dunk contest. He's a game dunker. What makes his dunks exciting is he's 6'1" and he jumps over, 7-foot guys. That's exciting. When you're moving and it's just him on the court, it don't look that exciting no more. I don't want to see him.
I agree.
All right. Queen, I'm going to give you the final word on this, and then we are going to move on to the actual game itself that happened on Sunday.
I got to agree with Raylan. I think you bring in the street ballers and you have them do this. Trick dunks are completely different than in-game dunks. And both are exciting in their own ways. So, why not bring the people that are professional trick dunkers to do the dunk contest? Don't get me wrong, though. It's different having the G League players play in the Rising Stars game because the G League is an affiliate of the NBA. So it's still somebody that's, playing for the NBA. It's a G League. It's a minor league. So, but, there's all these different leagues that happen during the off season. We see all these other guys go and play together in different leagues when they're not playing in the NBA. So, why not bring in some of these street ballers and keep it exciting? I think it would be entertaining.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to our next topic. And like I said, it's the actual game itself. Talking about that tonight here on the Sports Arena with Megan, Ray Lynn, and our special guest, Mr. Will Vogel. So Will, give me your thoughts on the All-Star game. It was Team LeBron versus Team Durant, and LeBron basically called game 183 to 180, ending the game on doing what he does, which is just, at any given point in time, LeBron James is going to take over. And it looks like he did that last night when it mattered most. So what were your thoughts on the game, Will?
I thought it was a cool game, actually. I know, of course, that in the first three quarters they don't play any defense or anything, and then in the last quarter, when it's really, really close, within 5 points or within 3 points or whatever, it gets really competitive. And Steph Curry it was fun seeing Steph, even though, like I said, there's no defense. Steph Curry was making crazy three after crazy three after crazy three. Ja Morant was dunking. There was lobs. There were crazy passes. It was a lot of fun. But I miss, and I was talking to Megan about this earlier, and a bunch of us on the carousel, I think, agree, and you guys may agree. I miss the East versus West, like I said a few minutes ago. The East is finally caught up with the West. I remember a few years ago, everyone's like, the West is the best conference by a million. over the East. Like, I think the captains thing has, like Megan said, has run its course. It was a good idea when it happened. The East was weaker, the West was stronger, and bringing the captain idea thing was good for a few years. But now let's bring it back to East and West. And also, I miss them wearing their own jerseys.
Interesting. So if that was the case, Will, you know there was a possibility that after the Harden-Simmons trade, if you're taking basically East-West, Kevin Durant would have at some point had to have picked James Harden because he is the East and he is a superstar. That could have created some additional turmoil. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I think I like what you're saying for this year, but if let's roll into next year, if these two gentlemen are still on the same teams that they're currently on, Kevin Durant and James Harden, a year removed from the trade, could still have a little bit of beef going on. And essentially, KD or James Harden might not pick the other one to be on their team, even though they know this individual is going to be a key figurehead or a prominent name or a superstar. So let me kick it to Megan and ask this question. Do you stick with teams? Because sometimes there is that, I won't say dysfunction, but there is that, hey, I'm not really vibing with you right now. I don't want you on my team. It's one of those cliquey, high schoolish kind of things. Or do you stick with you're a team captain, pick who you want?
I still like the East versus West, and I think in that moment you suck it up. You're paid to play. You chose to go to a different team, and how long was the East versus West format there? There was plenty of rivalries within your own conference, and you had to suck it up and play with them on that game, or you have to, when you're on the national team, play with guys that you don't necessarily like, and that's what it is. Get over it.
All right, Raylin, I don't know. I just, if we're both East and you're KD and I'm James Harden, and it's going to be East versus West, and you and me ain't vibing, I might not. I don't know. I feel like at some point I agree with Megan. You do have to suck it up for one game and say, okay, we're gonna make this work for this one night, these couple of hours, but you might not see me on the court. You might not get the rock. I just don't know.
Well, I mean, this isn't new though, right? If we remember Isaiah Thomas and those guys, quote unquote, freezing Michael Jordan out in the All-Star game, Karl Malone and the vets freezing Kobe out in the All-Star game. And then the situation we're referring to right now, this just happened 3 years ago when everybody was anticipating what is KD and Russ going to be like on the court together. Because when KD went to Golden State, it was beef between him and Russ. The commercials, some people run, some make runways. The showing up to the thing with the orange vest on and the cupcakes and all that. And then they got on the court and it became basketball. And Russ comes down, throws a lob to KD, and everybody on the sideline went crazy. And they was like, hitting their heads on the sideline. And they was kind of looking like, bro, it's just basketball. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's going to be just basketball, especially in a game that none of the players clearly care about for 38 minutes, right? Nobody cares for 40 minutes. The last 6 to 8 minutes is when they really care. What really burns me up, and I give LeBron a hard time, but I've clearly acknowledged his greatness, right? But this whole team captain thing was for his benefit, and he's clearly benefited from it. Go look. The 7 games before they started the team captains, the West was 6-1. The West was smacking the East. And they say, wait a minute, LeBron's the face of the league. We can't do this to him. Let's make team captains so he can pick a team. We're going to put the 24 best guys and let LeBron pick who he want to play with. And LeBron is 5-0 since then. When he get to put Steph on his team, he can win now. When he get to put KD when he was in the West on his team, he can win now. But when he got to take his East guys and go up against the best in the West, he couldn't win. LeBron couldn't win. Now he's 5-0 in this format. We know he can put a team together. Leave it in his hands. We know he can put a team together. I think it's whack. As far as the East catching up to the West on very, very top end star power, right? I would slightly agree with that. But as you start going down the line, probably not, right? Fred VanVleet would never make an All-Star game in the Western Conference. LaMelo Ball will still be watching in the Western Conference. Chris Middleton don't stand a chance. I can't say that. Andrew Wiggins made it. But those guards in the Western Conference, man, think about it. Dame Lillard ain't even playing this year. Zion Williamson ain't playing. Like the star power in the West is still so much deeper than the Eastern Conference, right? Luka Doncic is coming off the bench in the West. Like, just let that, like, the guards alone, Steph, Ja Morant, CP3, Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, Donovan Mitchell, a guy like De'Aaron Fox is a star, and he'll never make the All-Star game until those guys leave.
DeJounte
Here she
Murray
go.
made the All-Star game,
Look at
right?
it. Always got to throw that in there, Megan.
Think about the fact that CJ McCollum been balling for years in the West. Ain't never came close to sniffing the All-Star game. Like, the West is just tough, man. It's loaded with stars. If they went back to West and East, the West would be smacking the East. But again, well, LeBron's in the West now. He might go in. But I think that was stupid going to the picking thing. It is what it is, man. You go out there, conference versus conference, suit up and see who's gonna win. But as far as the teammates not getting along, not a big deal. And I don't know if you saw the draft, Eric. He clearly was like, "I'm not taking Harden." Like that's what happened. He said,
"It came down to the very last." No, you're absolutely right. It came down to the very last.
I need some size.
Right. Really I was like, wow, Durant is really going to do this. Like, it just took me back to the kickball days as a kid. Like, you didn't want to get past last for kickball. And if the team captain didn't like you, you was not getting picked no matter what. Eric, I was like,
you know what's more interesting than Kevin Durant doing what he did? The fact that LeBron didn't want him neither. That was more interesting. Like, Kevin Durant had a
right.
I think we might have lost him. Then we lost him. We'll get him back here in just a second. So piggybacking off of what he said, there he is. We got him. He's back. Ray Lane, go ahead, man. Finish up.
Go ahead. I don't know what happened with my internet. I just thought it was super petty of LeBron part to not pick him as well. That was kind of funny to me because he had no reason not to.
Yeah, we know LeBron's petty though. I mean, but it was funny. It wasn't necessarily surprising, but it was funny, especially as he's gotten older. His filter has just gone. You know what I mean? He's like, you know what? Forget it. Nope, I'm not.
Well, he on his way out. I mean, listen, you play 17, 18 seasons in the NBA. You waiting on your son to get there so that you and your son can play together for one season. And then that's going to be Bron's taking. He's already moved on, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
I don't know why the media isn't talking about this. And it's not on our subject, so I'm going to make it quick. Why is nobody talking about the fact that this is borderline tampering what LeBron James is doing? When you make an announcement and say, I want to play with my son for 1 year, you just told 32 GMs, if you draft my son, you getting me too. Like, that's what you're saying. If you draft my son, you get LeBron James on this farewell tour. You going to sell out every game if I'm on your team, especially if he ain't passed Kareem yet. You get LeBron James while he's passing Kareem on his basic farewell tour that he's doing. Hey, GMs, it's me, LeBron James. Tickets are going to sell wherever I go. If you draft my son, I know he's not that good. I know he's not really an NBA prospect, but if you draft him, package deal, you get me too. That's like a single mom trying to do that. It's a package deal. You get me, you got to get my baby too. LeBron saying, if you want me, you got to take my son. It's a package deal. Every GM would do that. Every single GM would do that. I get LeBron. We'll take on LeBron for a year. He ain't that good. Tampa.
Wait, hold on. Which one's not that good? Bronny not good?
Hey, no,
are you serious? Bronny is good. Oh no, you forgot about that part. But the rest of it, I agree. Bronny is good though.
Good for what?
Who got ups?
He averaged.
All right. We're gonna stick a pin in that conversation. We're gonna take a small break. When we come back, we're gonna touch on these injuries that have happened with Anthony Davis and with Zion Williamson and the impact it's gonna make on the Lakers and then also on the New Orleans Pelicans. More with the crew when we get back in just a moment. And welcome back into the Sports Arena. Your man Eric Wilson alongside our Queen of Hoops, Megan Price, Ray Land, sports reporter Pay, and our special guest, Mr. Will Vogel from the Sip Off and Megan Price's NBA Carousel. So let's talk about these injuries. Anthony Davis, listen, when he's on the court and healthy, arguably top player in the league. However, his injuries have been plaguing him over the last couple of seasons. And so as much love as I want to give this brother, and I hope he's able to come back and be healthy and help the Lakers kind of resurge themselves, because we are getting towards, it's almost March. Let's think about this now. We got March coming up, and then we've got April and May, and that's the time that you really as a team have got to come together, because if you don't, you're going to be an outside looking in. You might get a play-in game depending on where you're seated, but you're going up against these other top tier teams, and we're talking about the West. So we're talking about the Golden States of the world. We're talking about the Phoenixes of the world. For the regular season, we are talking about the Utahs of the world. It's just crazy to think that when you think of the NBA and you think of the playoffs, you naturally think of the Los Angeles Lakers. And this team is comprised of superstars, comprised of champions. And I'm just not seeing it right now. LeBron is supposed to be the guy to lead this team. I have said this from the beginning of time with his entire career. If you have LeBron James on your team, you are getting into the NBA playoffs. We've seen him do it. However, I am nervous. I'm not hitting the panic button, so don't anybody go out there and say, oh, Eric's saying he's bouncing. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the Lakers right now have got to establish Showtime, have got to establish the Lake Show, have got to establish an identity, because it's not being seen. And now again, and this isn't the first or the second, they don't have Anthony Davis. And I'm looking at the names on the back of these jerseys, and I'm saying to myself, how are y'all not putting up 110 by 3 quarters? You know what I mean? It stands to reason. Like, my mind is not functioning properly if the Lakers don't get into the NBA playoffs. So, Will, tell me your opinion with regard to the impact that not having Anthony Davis brings to this team as we are almost 3/4 of the way through the season, the regular season.
It's definitely hurting them. LeBron's having to do a lot. Westbrook's having a really shaky year. He's having a lot of turnovers. He's having a lot of bad shooting games. You've seen him get sat for a lot of fourth quarters in games. Like, I don't see this Lakers team, if they do make the playoffs, go far if they don't have Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is a scorer, a rebounder, a blocker. He is your big man. Westbrook, like I said, is struggling. So I think it's going to be very hard for the Lakers to clinch a playoff seed. I can see them in a play-in because it's just not going to be easy without a big man like Anthony Davis. Because look, you're against Golden State, like you said. You're against Phoenix. You're against Utah. You're against an up and rising team in Memphis. Like, this is the Western Conference. It's going to be very, very hard.
Yeah. Megan, I'm looking at these names here, and I'm sorry, but when I look at these names, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Malik Monk, Dwight Howard, I'm just saying to myself, what's the problem?
One of our friends that's on the carousel, and you see him comment sometimes, Joseph Jenkins, JJ, he has commented the other day that right now, prime versus prime, he would take Dwight Howard over Anthony Davis. And I had to think about it a little bit before I gave my thoughts on that. But I think he's right. Like, AD's just not playing out like that. And even when he is healthy, there's a lot of games that we don't see him being super aggressive. And I don't know if that's because he's scared to get injured or what the problem is. Obviously, Jahan just brought up coaching. That is a problem over there as well. But, when you let someone who, your team leader is going to impact the team and he's going to be a part of your decisions. And LeBron, anywhere he goes, he's going to be that, but he definitely shouldn't be the coach. He shouldn't be the GM. Like, there has to be a clear-cut line with some of these things. Do you want your star player to be involved in those decisions? Yes, but ultimately they can't be the one building their team. And I'm of the opinion that LeBron built this team, and they get what they get this year.
La GM, la coach.
I mean, Raylan, I'm looking at the standings right now, and this team is 27-31. All right. They are right now in the 9th spot, which means without that play-in game, the Los Angeles Lakers are not getting into the playoffs. But because we do have the play-in game, there's still a chance. You know, it's like that line from Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance. And I'm just looking at it and I'm like, is it really?
Yeah, it is. That's how they got in last year, right? Like, I promise you, Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis, all them boys sitting at the top of the standings, they looking down them standings. Don't nobody want to play LA in those 7-game series. You just talked about it, right? This LeBron James we talking about, right? The greatness of LeBron James. We all recall the 2018 team that had no business doing anything. Kyrie left. Kevin Love was a shell of himself, and Indiana gave him a tough run in the first round. Next thing you know, Cleveland was in the finals. 2007, a team with Mo Williams, Sasha Pavlovich, Zdrunas Ilgauskas, a bunch of people you'll never remember, had no business in the NBA Finals, steamrolled through Detroit, found themselves in the NBA Finals. This is LeBron James. Like, this is that GOAT stuff people talk about, and I don't even have him as the GOAT, but he's that great. You don't want to play him in a 7-game series. Are people forgetting, like how quick we forget? Again, we're talking. This conversation started about Anthony Davis and his injuries. Okay, best ability is availability. And that's the if, Anthony Davis is healthy, Dwight Howard don't have as much talent in his left test. Like, listen, man, like AD is so far beyond what Dwight Howard ever was, ever in his career. Great defensive player in a league where nobody, like a center that can rebound and block shots, right? Like, he's not no Anthony Davis. People acting like Anthony Davis didn't come to LA and they won a championship in his first year. Like, he didn't lead that team in almost every statistical category except Bron leading the league in assists. Anthony Davis led that team in scoring, led that team in rebounds, led the team in blocks, led the team in PER, led the team in field goal percentage, and they went and won a championship. And all of a sudden, Dwight Howard is better than Anthony Davis in his prime. Stop it. Like, people want Anthony Davis to be something he's not. He's not no, rugged banger guy. He a finesse player, but he's nice with what he do. Dwight Howard ain't never been that talented. And if we go back to last year's playoffs, when he was healthy, go look. He played horrible in game 1. Phoenix won. He dominated game 2. LA won. He dominated game 3. LA won. He gets hurt in game 4. Series over. When he's on the court, which again, that's the if we talking about. That dude is a problem. I don't know why this narrative about Anthony Davis and his talent. You want to start cracking the Derrick Rose jokes and make memes and say he can't stay healthy and he missed the glass. That's fine. If you're talking about his talent, when he's on the floor, Dwight Howard can't sniff the kind of talent Anthony Davis got. Never could.
But I agree with that part. I didn't say anything about he's not talented. What I said was he's not on the court. In his prime, he's not on the court.
And that, especially here in the last 2 years now, it's like I defended him so much because if you go look, he had strung together about 5 or 6 seasons of okay health where it was like, y'all not even paying attention. He missed 3 games and y'all say he hurt. I mean, but now these past couple of seasons, his health, he's so fragile. Like, even if you look, he just came back from injury. And if you look, just the worst luck, that ankle turn, that would hurt anybody, but it happened to him, right? So, again, if and when he's healthy, I don't want to play the Lakers. Like, if I'm a coach, right, and I'm looking down those standings, I don't want to play LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the first round. Not Phoenix, not Golden State. None of them want to see LA. Even if they beat them, it's going to be, like they say, it'd be a fight. Like, you might beat me, but you're going to remember. Like, you don't want to play them boys in no 7-game series, man. I would.
Okay. So let me transition over.
So there's a chance, Eric.
Okay. And I'm not saying there isn't. I know playoff LeBron from regular season LeBron. I've seen it happen up close and personal. I know. I'm just looking at, like I said, the names.
Can they make the playoffs if LeBron is having to do workload management because of his age? And then Anthony Davis is injured too. Do they even make the play-in tournament at that point in time? Which, I mean, I know that's a lot of ifs and what ifs and all that. But at this point, LeBron carrying the team, right? Because AD's been incredibly hurt this season. Can he keep that same steam throughout the season and then be playoff LeBron?
I'm done doubting that man.
Megan,
Okay.
I can't say no. I can't say no because I've seen him carry a team.
Mhm.
I've seen LeBron do it. Like Ray Lynn said, with certain
But in the
players
last
that
couple
you
of
didn't know.
seasons, we've seen him have to rest several weeks before the playoffs.
But if they're in a position, okay, let's say that even without AD for the time that he's out, let's say that the Lakers go on this streak, okay, and they elevate themselves to let's say they elevate themselves all the way from 9 to 5, all right, which I know there's a gap, but for the sake of having this conversation, right now Lakers are 27-31. The number 5 seed is 35-24, which is the Dallas Mavericks. That's 8 games. Let's say that they go on a streak, and let's say they win the next 9, 10 games, okay? And now they're moving positionally up. If LeBron needs to load management and take some time to where he is needing to not play so that he can prepare himself for the playoffs, and they are in a position to where even if they drop a game or two, they're still in. Right now, that's why I have a concern is because they're at number 9. They ain't at 8 or 7. They're at 9. And like I said, if it wasn't for the play-in game, they wouldn't even be in it. So I have to take everything into consideration. But I completely agree with Ray Lynn. I don't want to see LeBron in the playoffs because I think that man would twist his leg and break half his arm before he'd ever come out in a playoff game.
No one wants to play playoff LeBron.
Right. He would have to be carried off. You're muted. We can't hear you.
I just don't think I don't know if he's going to. I'm not going to say I don't think because obviously I wouldn't want to bet against LeBron either. But at this point in time in his career, I don't know if he can be playoff LeBron if he's steady carrying this team.
I don't know. Ray Lynn, I'm going to give you the final word.
That's my question.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Ray Lynn, I'm going to give you the final word on this one.
I'm just looking at the comments. I try to respond to people in the comments when people go, KD had the series one if his foot wasn't on the line. Well, his foot shouldn't have been on the line, right? Court awareness. His foot shouldn't have been on the line. He didn't have the series one. He lost. Nobody, like everybody say, if his foot wasn't on the line, they beat them. What if he had that exact same shot to end the game and airballed it? Y'all remember the shot with KD looking crazy, airballed it? He had another chance and he lost. We need to get over that. Milwaukee beat them. Milwaukee won the championship. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts. Milwaukee are the 2021 NBA champs. I don't care if Brooklyn was healthy. I don't care if KD foot wasn't on the line. As far as LA this year, like you said, I believe in LeBron. I believe in playoff LeBron. I believe when healthy, he's still one of the 5 best players in the world. And you just don't want to like LeBron different like that. And I'm not even saying Lakers would beat whoever. I just wouldn't want to play him. Like if I was top seed, I don't want to play LeBron.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we are going to transition. I want to talk a little WNBA. I'm calling an audible here because, the Sky have done some things that ain't nobody talking about but me. But we're going to talk about that for a minute. I may even have my little rant, but then I do want to talk Major League Baseball because spring training has not happened. And we might need to be a little concerned about this, but we'll get into that. More with the crew when we come back. You are on the Sports Arena with Will, with Ray Lynn, and of course our Queen of Hoops, Miss Megan Price. Back in just a moment. Welcome back into the Sports Media Man, Eric Wilson, alongside the crew. But before I go any further, I got to show love, of course, to the National Scouting Combine. It is coming up next week, February 28th through March 4th at the Grand Parks Events Center in Indianapolis, Indiana. Every year, Jimmy and the team continually elevate their game to that next level, and it's amazing to see the talent that has come through. So much so that the Super Bowl MVP, the one and only Cooper Kupp, back in 2013, was actually a part of it. And there was an opportunity to interview him and just, you never know those diamonds in the rough, those uncut gems that you're going to find at events such as this. It's an honor for me to be a part of it. I've been a part of it for the last 5-6 years. What Jimmy and Scott and Chad and Uncle Jay do, it's amazing. So again, National Scouting Combine, Grand Parks Event Center, February 28th through March 4th in Indianapolis. Let me go ahead and get the Queen of Hoops, our special guest Will Vogel, and my man Ray Lynn back in the building here. So let me ask y'all, because I do want to transition to Major League Baseball. And Megan, I know you have a huge problem because I have your list. You gave me a list of all the people that is on Megan Price's You Ain't Invited to the Cookout. Yes, that's what I'm calling it. This is Megan Price's list of You Ain't Invited to the Cookout.
Dead.
And one of them is the entire Major League Baseball, because her Texas Rangers, who have finally done something smart and made some moves, but unfortunately have nothing to show for it because spring training has not started. So, Megan, I'm going to go to you and say, what's the latest that you've heard down there in Texas about your Rangers? And more importantly, are we going to have spring training?
I think you have to have spring training. And we saw how, with COVID, how not having preseason affects the leagues. It's a problem. It's going to be tons of injuries if you do it like that. You need spring training. You need preseasons. It's important. Do we have a shortened preseason? I think that's likely. There was a report that came out maybe a couple hours ago. It says that the MLB is no longer pursuing the ability to reduce the sizes of the minor league roster. So that's one point that they're conceding right there. The Players Association was trying to get the rookies and the minor league guys paid a little bit more. MLB was actually trying to reduce the size of the minor leagues. And then they're also going to increase the pre-arbitration bonus pool to $5 million. So I think they're trying to push through this, hopefully soon. I don't think we see anything next week either. I expect something in about 2 weeks.
All right. So 2 weeks, though, not only because, opening day is slated usually for the beginning of April, if I'm not mistaken. So
into March,
now you're
beginning of
saying,
April.
right. So now you're saying if you don't start until 2 weeks, that'll put us at the 7th, 8th of March, and you're only giving them less than, 20 some odd days to have pitchers and catchers report. I mean, is everybody going to report all together? Because typically,
I think that's what you have to do.
Okay. All right.
I think,
so what?
And I mean, 2 to 3 weeks of preseason, I think it'll be okay. They have to have at least 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks, the best, looking like the best opportunity. If we get that, I don't know. I do think I don't think they'll shorten the season. I think it may just go a little bit longer than anticipated.
All right. So then let me go to Will and ask this question. Will, do you believe that Major League Baseball is in fact going to be able to get this done in Megan's time frame, or do you see it maybe extending further and it being a truly condensed preseason, or do they push back the season to give them more time to get prepared?
You have to look at it both ways, but I agree with Megan. I think 2 to 3 weeks is plenty enough time to get ready, and why not report everyone at the same time? I know the guys are itching to get back to playing, and I would love to see baseball start on time again. It's always fun watching the last week of March, early April, watching opening day, and it just wouldn't feel like baseball if it started later. So I think I agree with Megan. 2 to 3 weeks would be fine with me.
Okay. All right. So Raylan, I mean, the owners and the players have got to get this figured out because people trying to get paid. People got to make money. You've got all these TV deals and concession deals, and the fact that we're allowing fans back into these stadiums to watch this game, a game that at one time was America's national pastime. It's hard to believe that this is where we've come in 2022.
Why is it so hard to believe? So a couple of things. It's funny looking at, as you say, Eric, both sides of the coin, right?
Right.
You think to the owners, well, if you don't get it right, you can't make money if the players don't play, right? The funny thing about that is all the owners are rich already, so they really don't care. Players can't make money if they don't play, but they are the product, right? Major League Baseball has the best players association in all of sports because they put their foot, they draw their line in the sand, and they stand firm until they get what they want. Since 1972, it's been 5 strikes and 4 lockouts. Like, we was overdue for one. I think the last one was on like 85
95.
or something. 95. And that went 232 days, I think, right? They, like, Major League Baseball, the Players Association, have shown that when we mean business, we mean business. There was something when I saw the topic, I was like, I wonder how many strikes it's been. They've went on strike 5 times between 1972 and now, right? And it's been 4 lockouts. This ain't nothing new. That's why they had the best contracts in the world, because the Players Association, they stand up for what they want. They stand up for their players, and they fight and fight and fight, and they don't cave until they get what they want. That's why when we see them ridiculous baseball contracts, like, I don't know how many people got over $300 million. I know it's quite a few of them, right? And we look like he's not even – basketball players can't get the kind of contracts baseball players get because they union. The Players Association stood up and fought for that. So I firmly believe that when this does end, it will end with the players getting whatever it is they want. The sooner the owners figure that out, the sooner we'll see baseball. But until then, and I have no problems with them locking out. I got no problems with it. Like, we always say, we for the players. So now the Players Association is standing up to the powers that be, and they've drawn a line in the sand. And when they get what they want, we will see baseball. And no, I don't think it will be anytime soon. I think we're going to miss a huge chunk of the season. Because they're not even.
Okay, so you say I'm moving to Arlington and I'm camping outside the stadium. That's what you're saying.
That's what it sounds like. Because I was reading up on it. They're not even close. And they're saying this dispute is probably one of the worst. It's worse as it's ever been. As far as the two sides being so far apart in what it is they're trying. Like, you want to buy a car. I'll give you $1,000 for this car, sir. That's going to cost you $15,000. That's a pretty big gap to try and come to a medium. So that's where they're at. They are on so opposite ends of the spectrum, and what it is they want, they're not close to happy medium. And I don't think the players going to cave. I think I don't know if we're going to miss the whole season. Spring training, that's out the window. Not going to happen. We won't see it in the spring.
So what you're telling me is, typically, like we said, end of March, beginning of April, this is when baseball fans get truly excited because they know opening day. Opening day is like one of the biggest days in sports because you always have a marquee matchup on ESPN, and then everybody else is playing that entire weekend. You got 3 and 4 game series that are going on, but it's usually that day people take off from work. They leave early. They grab the family. They go to these games. They watch these players because it's opening day. And you're saying to me, don't get your tickets yet because we don't have a start date.
Won't be no start date. Opening date. What opening day is normally when?
And usually, for argument's sake, let's just say, and I'll pull up the calendar real quick. All right. So typically, opening day, I'm saying this year would be March 31st. That's what I'm saying.
How about this? Bold prediction. Opening day gonna come after the NBA Finals.
I am gonna cry.
I would too.
Opening day is going to come,
even though everyone hates my team.
You heard that from the Sports Reporter without pay, live on the Sports Arena. You heard it here first. That's what I said. They not close. Just when you get a chance, when we get off of this, you're watching, people watching Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, all the places we've posted this and the people on. Just go to ESPN, go to any, just type MLB lockout and just kind of read up on where they're at right now. It's so discouraging. Like, it's so discouraging. They're not close.
There is a lot of points they're arguing on, like the playoffs. The owners want to expand the playoffs. The players met them in the middle of that, and they still couldn't even concede that point.
But these always come down to money. If they can square away the financial part, the rest will work itself out. I don't even know why players would be mad about playing games. You play 162 games anyway. Like the
Right.
game, how many games they play won't matter, right? Add a few games, take whatever, expand the playoff format, don't matter. The money, and they are so far like that's all the owners care about. They care about their bottom line, and the athletes want to get paid too. So when they can find a happy medium with the money, they'll play baseball again, but it'll be after the NBA finals.
I'm shocked to think that, because usually the NBA finals is usually a week before my birthday. And so typically at that point, that's when I start getting excited about baseball. But then, a month after that, we got July and into August. By August, it's preseason NFL and I'm good to go. So July is my month. I mean, right now I got WNBA. So, I mean, first off, shout out. You see him right behind me. I'm always going to shout him out. Coach Wade and the best point guard in the game, Courtney Vandersloot. Thank you very much. I say that because that now is where my priority lies. But before that, it was, okay, I got a month of solid baseball. July was like my month. It was like, all right, I'm going to go watch a couple games. I'm going to see who's doing what. Then you got the home run derby, of course, and you got the All-Star game. Will, if Raylan bold prediction comes to fruition, we're talking July, August, September. Because there's no way you're not running the playoffs in October. There's a reason they say you can't script October. If they do that, and they got 3 solid months, July, August, and September, to, let's just say, play 75 games, would that be enough to accurately have a champion this season? Or would there be an asterisk behind this person or that team?
I don't think it's enough games, honestly. I really don't. Like 75, I think they did. Didn't they last year or something have like 80 something? Yeah. I don't think
season they had like 80, 82.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel right. I wouldn't say asterisk because whoever wins deserves it unless they cheat. A la the Astros. But it just doesn't feel right not having 162 games.
Okay. So Raylan talked the money portion of it. Megan, let me go to you and say, if they do find a happy medium, how many games are going to be considered enough for us to say this was a season?
I think you got to have at least 2/3 of the season. So, I mean, if what Raylan predicted happens, I mean, I think that's about right. I mean, the finals are usually what, mid-June?
Yeah.
Mid-June?
NBA finals are mid-June.
Yep.
So if they can have, 2 weeks of June also, then yeah, I think they could get in probably like, I don't know, 90 games. They can get in 90 games.
But that's still not 2/3. 2/3 is 106 or 107 games. If you're saying 2/3,
yeah,
then,
I think we need 2/3.
All right,
I
so
could
Raylan,
agree with that.
how many games do you think is going to be adequate enough?
100. Nice round number, like 100. I just hope the owners know what they're up against. Do people really remember what happened in 95? Like, I don't know if people remember.
I was 10.
Probably
it happened
not.
in season.
It did. No, I know. I remember. They locked out. They did not play.
And they didn't have a World Series. There's no champion for that year. That's how serious the NLBPA is. So, like,
No, I think 95 or 94. Yeah, they didn't have one. I forgot who they said it would have been.
Somebody in the comments said Dodgers only played 60 games one year when they won the World Series. So
interesting.
There's that.
Yeah. Shout out to our man, my Sky brother, Mr. Tyler Ingram, always chiming in. Okay. I mean, wow. This is a conversation that I know is going to go on until there is some type of solution, but I'm glad we had a chance to jump on it and talk about it because you know what? And I appreciate Raylan bringing the facts and the knowledge because you're right, 95. So we're talking, 27 years ago was the last lockout. But again, like you said, they have the best Players Association to where if they don't find a happy medium, we may not have a season. And I know Megan gonna be mad. So
I'm gonna be mad too.
They're so bold. They struck and locked out 2 years back to back, 71, 72, I think. So it's not like they walk away from the table going, "Oh, we're not happy. We're just gonna live with it." Nope, they have strike again. Hey, Eric, have you ever watched the ESPNU or ESPN Plus? I mean, they have.
I have it. I have it. So I guess what episode? Man. What am I missing?
No, just letting you know. Just find some other stuff to get used to, man. They have like extreme tag on there. I mean, tag like you played as a kid.
I am not watching tag, Raylan.
I'm just letting y'all know.
It's crazy. I've seen those
after the
videos.
NBA finals. So you're gonna have your WNBA, but it ain't get downtime, man. Watch you some cornhole or some ping pong or some tag or something on
but
ESPN
the minor leagues are still playing, correct? Because our local farm team is starting on time.
Man, listen, ESPN Plus is where it's at, Megan. I watch people do barrel racing.
I will go down.
Barrel racing.
Like half a mile from the stadium.
You're gonna be out there with your Queen of Hoops San Antonio gear on, like y'all need to do something.
No, she's going to be out there with a Texas Rangers shirt on and a picket sign. Like,
I'm going to protest. I mean, I've already been all over Twitter with this. I'm angry. I'm real angry. We signed Sager and Simeon in the offseason.
I'm not even gonna,
and our pitchers are coming around.
I'm not even going to bring up my favorite team because everybody hates my favorite team.
So you're a Yankees fan, Will? Is that what you're telling me?
I was born and raised in Connecticut. My grandma got me hooked on the Yankees.
Okay. I mean, listen, I can't say nothing. You got 27 reasons why you're a dynasty. So, I mean, love him or hate him, you got to respect him.
I was only alive for, like maybe 8, 6.
Yeah.
That's still a ton. You know how many Texas has? None. Don't talk to me about this, Will. None. And it looked like we were going to do something this year. Now, do I think we were going to win the chip? Probably not. We were going to be competitive.
Oh, yeah.
It's been since 2016 since we were competitive. I am ready.
Eric, you're our defeated Megan sound. She already sound like the season's over. We were going to do something. Like she sound like
they are who they
I'm going to tell y'all what kind of Rangers fan I am. Y'all remember when during COVID, baseball wasn't allowing fans, right? And they had everybody's cutouts. You see, if you were a season holder, you got to have your cutouts in there. My mom, me, Kennedy, and one of the dogs had our cutouts in the stadium.
Really? Wow, that's awesome.
Did a fly ball hit one of your cutouts?
I don't think so. I mean, we weren't that close.
All right, I
would have been like, I'm open.
All right. Listen, man, thank you everybody for chiming in. We really appreciate it. Shout out to our man, special guest Will Vogel. Make sure you check him out on the NBA Carousel, Megan Price's NBA Carousel on Monday nights and on the Sip Off on Thursday nights. Wednesday night, let me just preface this really quick. Wednesday night, there are going to be 2 conversations that are going to be had here on the Sports Arena. One involving what happened with the Michigan Wolverines college basketball and their head coach, Juwan Howard. And then we're also going to have a Brian Flores conversation because he was and is a coach in the NFL. He is a defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we're going to talk about both of those issues on Wednesday night. Make sure y'all stay in tuned and chime in as always. Again, much love to everybody. One last time, National Scouting Combine coming up. Shout out to my Chicago Sky. Shout out to everybody except the Dallas Cowboys because you know I can't stand them. That was for Megan and
Dallas
Mike.
Wings.
It was. But Dallas Wings are an up-and-coming team. I look forward to seeing Megan talk to Vicky Johnson and Enrique about that. And Raylan, I'm probably going to be seeing you, my brother, live and in color May 6th at Wintrust. We're going to have to hold it down as the Chicago Sky, the reigning, defending, undisputed WNBA 2021 Chicago Sky champions, host your Los Angeles Sparks with what you call them, Kombucha. I forget the power duo that you call them. Kambumakwe.
Oh,
but
it
doesn't live up to the best power couple in the WNBA, and that is the Vanderquigs. So from all of us, we appreciate y'all. Keep chiming in. Connect to your city, DBNA. We are going to holler at y'all on Wednesday night. We will see y'all later.